Hey y'all, all this back to school stuff is going to be gone soon. You better get it now while it's on sale because prices are only going to go up from here. For only 50 cents, I'm going to show you how you can make your own DIY planner. Now that we're back home, I really like to use college ruled notebooks for my planner. For the main reason that I like to use it is because there are plenty of spaces to write all the days of the month, and as well at the top, if you want to make like a category or something like that, you have plenty of room to do that. Another thing I like about the spiral notebooks is they lay flat, or you can fold it like this. I have a tiny little table that I keep all of my planning supplies at, and I can just leave it open on whatever day I'm planning on. So that is another thing that I like. I also was going to show that a composition notebook, I got a college ruled one here, and I don't like these as much. For one, they don't lay flat, that kind of bothers me, and another, you only have 29 spaces, so you don't have enough for a full month here. I guess unless if it's like February or a leap year or something, that's the only time it will ever work. So that is not my favorite. Also, if you get the wide ruled variety here, well, I know I wrote it, there we go, you only have 26 little rows to go down. So that is another reason why I like to do college ruled notebooks. That is my absolute favorite. It's like my tried and true. I've done it this way for years and years. So we're gonna start out with like my layouts that I cannot live without. So these things help me so very much. So we're gonna start out with September. I cannot believe that it is almost September. That is just crazy. And then also it's almost fall time where we're at. It does not feel like fall at all. We are still having like 100-degree days, and it is pretty rough, but I am so ready for fall. It is my favorite time of year, and I just love it so very much. So what I'm going to do here is just try and set up the calendar. Whenever I first started doing my DIY planners, I started doing this like dailies, and I didn't do a monthly. So I started off doing my monthlies. Hopefully I can get this to hold here. It's hard to talk and do this at the same time. It moved on me, but that's another thing. If that bothers you, you can always just rip out a page and restart. These are super cheap. You can't beat 50 cents nowadays, and you could just restart and do it however you want. I'm not a perfectionist. It doesn't bother me that much. I just kind of go with it. To me, I'm more on the efficiency side. I like to keep it more efficient than perfect, and you can also decorate them with stickers or whatever you like. But again, like I said, I'm more about efficiency, so I don't do any of those, but they definitely are really beautiful. There's some people that decorate those, and they are so nice. So another cool thing about doing your own DIY setup is you can start your week with whatever day you want. Now I prefer to do Sunday. It just throws me off if I started on Monday, but I know a lot of people really like to do it on Monday. So if that is you, this is a great way to do that, because sometimes they are pretty hard to find that way. So we'll just do this, and whenever I started doing this years ago, I just started with the dailies, and then I added the calendar, and I just added layouts slowly with time and figured out what works for me. I also made this little cheat sheet for me, so I know how many weeks there are in the month to know how many rows I need to go down. So in September we have 5 weeks, so I need to go down 6 rows. Okay, we'll do that here. And it is so nice that September is going to, like, Sunday is the 1st. So that would kind of throw you off, I guess. It would start, you'd like have Sunday would be here, and you'd have almost 6 weeks if you started with Monday as the week. I just thought about that. That would not be very nice. That was like so satisfying last month whenever it ended with Saturday on there as the 31st. That was awesome. So I really loved that. I'm trying to count here and talk at the same time. I cannot believe it is already going to be fall. It is my favorite time of year. How about y'all? What is your favorite time of year? that is definitely mine. Okay, so we're gonna fill in all the days here, and I used to put all of my appointments in here. That's what I did years and years ago whenever I first started out, and I thought that was gonna work really good, but I found that I was forgetting things and that did not work so great for me. So I do all of my appointments and things like that in my daily planner. That will be in a separate video, and I do a lot of really different things with that to try and make it more efficient for me, and it has helped so much. So I will have that video out later too. It would just make it too long to put them together, so I try and separate it. And some people only like to plan monthly or weekly or daily. You know, it's all a personal preference and everybody is different. Okay, so another good thing about this too is if you have layouts that you've done in other planners that work for you, you can always incorporate those and like kind of create them on your pages here too. So that's another idea to keep in mind. And after that, I like to do my goals. This has taken me a long time to figure out all of my favorite layouts, but these work so good for me that I have stuck with them for a really, really long time, and they are my absolute favorite. I feel like I would be lost without them. So I always set these up. It's always nice to have goals and try and get that all sorted. And what I do is I break the page up in half and I write my financial goals. And so usually there I put in like the bills that need to be paid. So we'll put pay bills, and we have like our electric, we have our phone, water, I'm trying to remember what else there is, insurance, and we also do YouTube Premium, so we'll put that on there. And we also usually do some type of streaming service. We kind of change it up each month, and we'll go with a new streaming service. That way everything is nice and fresh. We try and get everything watched that we want to watch in one month and change it up. But that is a good money saving tip, is to just have one streaming service at a time. And after that, I usually put my orders in. Actually, I do not have anything, or why did I do that? I wrote that wrong. Okay, so see, I am not a perfectionist here, but I usually put in like one big Amazon order a month. That way I'm not like spending too much money, and it's things that we really, really need. Plus it saves on shipping because we don't have Amazon Prime unless if we decide to let that be the streaming service for the month. So that's another thing I have there. And like I said, surprisingly, I don't have anything in there. So hopefully that would be great. That would be money saving in itself to not have to buy anything. Okay, so speaking of saving money, another thing I like to try and do is save some money. Usually it's not very much, and honestly last month it was nothing. We had so many unexpected things that come up that we were not able to do that. Okay, so after my financial goals, I have my home goals, and here's where I like to do the weekly home blessing hour. I talk more about this in my daily planner. This is kind of like the Fly Lady system that I converted to work for me with all of my like physical space reset. And another thing I do to try and track how well I did with it, I'm generally pretty good about it, but I write how many weeks there are in the month because I always do mine on Sunday. So since there's 5 Sundays, we'll have a 5 there for how many weeks I need to do that. And another thing I am trying and still completely failing on is the Fly Lady zone cleaning. For some reason, I'm more of like a once or twice a year cleaner, a deep cleaner, and that works great for me, but I'm still trying. I've yet to be able to stick to that, but I was supposed to get some zone cleaning done, especially like the bedrooms before school started, and I did not get to that. So I am not perfect. I struggle with things too, so hopefully I will be able to get to those, because usually towards like Thanksgiving and Christmas, I always like go through the house and completely deep clean everything, so that would be a lot to add that on top. So hopefully I'll be able to get the bedrooms zone cleaned this month. And another thing I always forget to do is to check the vacuum bag. We still have an old Kirby vacuum, but that thing works great. I was so excited to see how good it worked because we have a rug, and I use it to vacuum like every week, and I could not believe how little dirt was underneath the rug whenever we changed it. So I am a big believer in the Kirby vacuum. Plus it doesn't break nearly as much. I was notorious from going through like the Hoovers and stuff like every 6 months. So I am loving the Kirby vacuum. We were able to get that at an auction for only $2. So that was really, really awesome. We got lucky on that. And another thing I need to do for the home is to make bread flour. This is something that I make homemade using only a couple of ingredients. It is really expensive where we're at here, and I just make that. I also have a video on that if you'd like to check that out. And then after that, I write my personal goals. So do that, and those I just kind of keep relatively simple. I'm trying to work on my oral health, so I do oil pulling, and I write however many days there are in the month. I think, was it 30 or 31? Oh, it's only 30. Okay, so we'll fix that. Oh, forgot about the timer there. Sorry about that. Somebody's going to get it for me. Okay, thank you. After that, we have melt. This is like kind of like an exercise, I don't know, more stretching routine that works great for me. For some reason it helps a lot with my gardening and being stooped over and my back hurting, and it also helps me sleep. So I've noticed that it helps me a lot with that. And my next exercise I like to do is T-tap, and well, I'll also put this here so I can see how many times I did it in a month. I was struggling an awful lot with this, but I'm doing a little bit better, so that's great. And my exercise machine, I need to do that too, and the days for that. Okay, so that's everything that I do for like my home and financial and personal goals. Next up, I do my outside goals. So I just keep this pretty basic. So I need to be sure and water because we are in a drought right now, and it is super, super hot too. Like I said, we're 100 degrees, so I have to stay on top of that. There are storms rolling in right now, possibly just little pop-up showers. So I'm hoping that we get some of that. That would be wonderful. Also need to keep in mind to do harvest. We are putting up an awful lot from there. Actually, some of these pumpkins that we got here are from our garden, from our last garden harvest that we did. We were so excited to get a lot of pumpkins. I love pumpkins. Again, they kind of go with the fall theme. It's my favorite time of year. And then after that, I need to weed. Actually did some of that and got scars. Well, it's not scars, but cuts from it. I don't know who won there with the weeds or me. And then I also need to fertilize. And I also have videos showing how I make my homemade fertilizers if y'all would like to check that out. And after that, I do a next month section. And this is where I write things that I need to remember, like for example, if we have appointments coming up for October, or like if there's shows that we want to watch, or something I need to remember to pick up, like say I already put my order in for September and I need to remember in October's order to get that in. That's kind of where I write all of that stuff. So this I started a few months ago, and it has been really, really helpful. Okay, so after that, I write a kind of a to-do list for me. This I sometimes have to update and change it more weekly, but most of the time I can just keep it here in my monthly. So I really, really have been enjoying this. This helps me a lot, especially because some of these things are repetitive, like, you know, watering, harvesting, my weekly home blessing hour. All these things are repetitive, and it's kind of nice to have it in a couple of spots. Okay, so we're gonna start off, as you can tell, I like to break things up. So we're gonna start off with the home category, and we're gonna put our weekly home blessing hour, and then we're gonna put our zone cleaning. Other things, I usually have to make bread flour a couple of times a month, so we're gonna write that down. I try and make all of our bread homemade. And I also like to try new recipes. I am trying to do at least one new recipe a week. I was doing really, really good at the beginning of the month and was like way ahead of schedule, and then life got crazy, and now I'm like week by week. That's about the best I can do, is one new recipe. So hopefully I can continue that through the rest of the year, because that was like one of my big goals. I had like 101 goals for the year in my long-term collection journal. So that's what I have there. Other things I need to remember to do is to preserve all of our harvest. Also, every month I like to make our homemade biscuits. This is the Southern Fluffy Biscuit recipe that I have, and these are really, really good, even frozen. So what I do is I make a really, really big batch of that, and I, of course, use them that night for dinner, and then the rest all go in the freezer, and you just pull them out and thaw them. I usually heat them up in the oven for just a few minutes so they're nice and warm, but these are super, super good from the freezer, so it is a great little convenience side for that. Another thing that I like to make that I usually try and do every month is English muffins. I don't have a recipe video out on this yet, but I should. It is super, super good. We actually had picked some up at the Dollar Tree because I needed something super fast, and my family was so sad. Everybody said yours are so much better. So this is another thing that I do, and I put the leftovers in the freezer because I make a big batch, and they are great too. So I like bake these fully, if I didn't explain that well enough, and then put them in the freezer, and you just gotta thaw them for a little bit and usually pop them in the oven. Whenever we do the English muffins, I just cut them in half and toast them in the pan, so they work out really, really good. Other things I like to do is make a batch of mashed taters. Usually I get several batches of these going, and I'll usually do it whatever night I'm having it for dinner, so I'm just like reusing the pans and don't have nearly as many dishes. So that's another thing, and I freeze them too. And the key to this is to have a lot of fat in it. I have done this before and they didn't turn out very well, and they kind of tasted weird and had a weird texture. It's almost like magic. Whenever they start to get warm, they just thicken up and come together, and it is really, really wild. My husband really wants to know the science behind that because he does not understand how it just happens. It's so, so crazy. Okay, so after that, our next category is YouTube. And let's see, so what I need to do for there is to make some type of schedule. This helps me a whole lot. It doesn't always go the way I want it to, but I like to have at least some idea. Of course, we need to film like we are right now. I write a to-do list for the editor. They do a great job. And also need to upload it. I'm just kind of doing basic things. There's a lot more that goes into it than that, but we'll just kind of write the basic things here, and I also move all the files to the hard drive. And also, I would like to thank everyone so much who came in from our previous monthly video. I am so very glad to have everybody, and everybody that subscribed and watched. We welcome y'all so much, and thank y'all all so much for watching and liking and commenting and subscribing. That means so much to us, and I am so, so glad that this was helpful to a lot of people. That's kind of my goal here, is to help people. I know not everybody can afford the really expensive planners, and this is just a cheap way to do it. And even if you don't like the notebooks like this, some people said they didn't like how thin the paper was and then it bled through the other side, you can still use these same layouts or ideas in those other notebooks as well. So you can still take away a little bit from the video, hopefully. Okay, so after that I do my garden section, and here, let's see, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna keep it simple with water, harvest, weed, and fertilize. I think that's what all we're gonna do here. And what I do with my fertilizer is I do that 2 times a month, so every 2 weeks. So that's great, you know, having it twice here. I can cross one off, and then I still remember that I have one more time to go. So it works out great for me to do it that way. And then my personal goals, let's see, I have my vitamins, and then I'm trying to get better about exercise. I'm doing a lot better now. Hopefully I can continue with that as well. And for my oral health, I am working on oil pulling. I have forgot that a little bit more than I would like, so hopefully I can get better at that. And the water flosser. That thing is really, really nice. I love that. Okay, so this is kind of like my goals and to-dos. It works great. And also, another thing I was going to say is if you have like really, really big goals, you can break it up into smaller steps. Like you can take your goals and put them in like a to-do list like this and break it up. So that's an idea too if you have a really big goal and would like to try and make it into more small, manageable steps. Okay, so the next page, let's see here, is my dinners page. So we'll go ahead and write this, our title. So how about y'all? Do y'all do like fancy titles with all of the like calligraphy and stuff like that? I love that. I think it looks beautiful, and I wished I could learn how to do that, but that's just not me. I'm more like on the efficiency side. So what I do here is I write all of the days, or actually not all of the days, I do all the numbers for all of the days of the month. And if you wanted, you can write like the day of the week it is. Say like, I think that was Sunday was the 1st. So you could write like Sunday here, or you can do like an abbreviation of it, and that would work great. Whenever I first started this layout, that's what I did, and I realized that it really didn't make that big of a difference to me, and since I like efficiency, I decided that that was not important to me. So everybody is different and things work different for everybody. Some people don't like this layout like this, and they would rather be more horizontal than vertical, but for the way my brain works, the vertical works great for me. And I really think it's great to use a college ruled notebook because you have enough of space to go down for every day of the month. So that is really awesome. Let's see. I think there was 30 days, right? Yeah, 30 days. Okay, so there we go. So this is also, I don't know if I said, this is the page where I write what we actually had for dinner. That way I know how old the leftovers are in the fridge, and like can see at a glance for the whole month, and see, or a pretty big chunk of time. It may not have the whole month there, but you can kind of see a pattern of if you're having one meal too much or something like that. Just, it's time to change it up, and that way that meal doesn't get old. So another thing that I do that I've started doing semi-recently and has been such a big help is to do a meal ideas. So I don't know about y'all, but I always find all kinds of neat ideas on Instagram and Pinterest and all these places, and sometimes they can get lost. So I try and write down like a few ideas of things that I would like to do for the month, and again that helps with my goal of trying to make new recipes. So it is always really fun. I really enjoy baking especially, and cooking is pretty fun too. I'm getting better at it. So we'll do our line here, and I like to break this up into different categories. So what I write here generally, sometimes I will put like breakfast, but not generally. Most of my family aren't big breakfast eaters, so I usually just stick with dinners. And how about y'all? Do y'all call it dinner or supper? We always call it dinner, but I know some people call it supper. So I do dinners, and then I do sides, and I also do desserts. And I will have a video later in the month, or yeah, later in the month, and or not too far from now, where I will go over some of my meal ideas that I had found and what I'm kind of planning on making. I don't like stress about it. If I don't get to these, or plans change or something like that, it's no big deal. This is just kind of like if things go absolutely perfect, I would love it to be like this, but you know, life's never perfect, so we just do the best that we can, and I don't stress about it. At least I have some type of idea if I'm needing a new recipe or something. Okay, after that, oh, also, I also put in like requests. If family members request a certain dish or something, I also add that in there too. Okay, so another thing that is really important to me to add in is my body tracker page. So this is kind of where I keep track of more health related things. So that has been working great for me, and I love tracking a month at a time because it's so much easier to notice patterns of things. That has been super helpful. Hopefully I'm doing this. Hey, I did pretty good. We'll see if we do it good this time, and I'm not supposed to go all the way to the side, but that's okay. So what I do here is I give myself a really big notes section, and that way I can write, you know, if there's anything that's like noteworthy going on that I think is different or just important or whatever. Something's bothering me, like say if you have a headache or something like that, I write that down there. And then other things I track, I'll break this up into 3 other categories. So I also track my energy, and then I track my mood, and then I track my cycle, and then I just write all the days of the month here. So that has been working great for me, and I really like it all at a month like this. It is so helpful, especially with like looking at your cycle and stuff. You can kind of notice patterns and stuff, and it is really, really helpful. So I hope that this helps y'all too, and y'all can figure out, y'all tell me if y'all do some type of body tracker, what type of things that y'all track, because I'm always learning and trying different things. I think it's really, really fun, and there are so many people that have such good ideas. It is really awesome, and they're so nice to share. I love that people that share all of that on YouTube just to help everyone. That's so super nice. Okay, so that's my body tracker page. I keep it pretty simple there. My next page is another tracker page, so we'll do this here. I just do, usually in the summertime, I don't track nearly as much as I do in the winter time. I'm just so busy with the garden and everything. I don't do that very much, but it works great. I still try and do a little bit. So the main things that I track is my exercise, so T-tap, also do melt, and then I do my exercise machine. And let's see, also do oil pulling. So this is really helpful to mark whatever day it is that I do it. I usually just do a check mark, and usually actually with my exercise, if I'm changing it up, I usually try and write whatever exercise video it is that I'm doing. I like to change it up, and I get bored if I do the same thing all the time. So I usually write that on melt. Generally there's like certain areas that you can target. Like right now I'm working on my knee. I did something to my knee, so I'm working on that with it, so that would be like something I would write down. But it's really awesome, especially at the beginning of the month, and I'm kind of jumping over here, but especially whenever I come back to here to my personal goals, I can just write however many times I did it in the month, and it is super, super helpful. And I also keep track of like my measurements and all that. I do that one time a week, or one time a month, sorry about that. And that also helps you, you know, if your measurements aren't what you think they should be, like they're more or less depending on whether you exercised or not. So that's also helpful. You can just have all of this information at one place, and you can kind of see whatever pattern might be causing all of that. Okay, next up is my gratitude page. So do y'all do a gratitude page or anything like that? I've seen people do really, really fancy things. Another idea you could do instead of a gratitude journal or page here set up is you could do a, oh gosh, like a one line a day kind of thing. Or you could do like a journal entry or something like that. I just kind of like to end my day with things like that. There's always something to be grateful for. So, did I do that right? I think I did. Hopefully I didn't miss a number there. I feel like I did. I might have. Anyways, we'll just keep going with it. If I messed it up, I can use whiteout or scribble it out or something like that, and it will be a-okay. I'm not that big of a perfectionist. And you can always like rip these pages out and redo it or whatever you like if that bothers you. They are super cheap and super customizable to whatever works for you. Okay, after that, this page is something I started semi-recently too, and this is my review and reflection. So I have been loving this. Actually, I need to put the year on there. I love this page. I did not know I was gonna like this as much as I did, but it has been so nice to have all of this information. Like, I used to never keep, I guess this is kind of almost more like journaling, and I generally don't do much journaling. To me, I guess I just do it more to kind of keep me on track with goals and everything, more efficient with it, but I have been loving this so much. So what I like to do is break it up and keep track of my wins, my challenges, and let's see, improvements. I like to do that too. And then also our memories. I wish so much that I would have done this when my kids were littler and I would have like kept track of all of those sweet little memories, the cute little things that they said and all of that. I wish so much that I would have done that, but unfortunately I didn't. So I just have what I can remember now, and usually my memory section is like completely filled up. I think last month like everything was filled up except for improvements, which I just didn't know what to do to make things better. But I thought that was really funny that they are really starting to fill up. So that was pretty awesome, and I highly suggest if you have kids, babies, all that, this would be a great page. Like you would probably need like a whole page dedicated to your child. That would probably be really good to do, but I think that would be so sweet to have, because I don't know about y'all, but I like with my first one I did the baby book for a little while, and like I don't know, like I guess after the second one rolled around, that was pretty much the end of it, and I did not, I mean I saved little bits here and there, but I was not consistent on it at all, and maybe this would help. You could just write it down. I know some people even do that in their phones, in like the notes section they just write little things like that, and nowadays you have like your camera right there too, so you might be able to just record it instead, so and catch it like virtually like that. That would be even better. But that's what I do on that page. And let's see, so this other page is related to my garden. That is like my hobby. I really love it. So I do a page for it. This is where I track like our harvest, and not only is it a great hobby, but it also saves some money. So that is really helpful nowadays. I know it is pretty hard. We're struggling too, so it is very tough times whenever it comes to financial things. So I'm gonna write here we go. I'm going to write September. I almost forgot how to spell September there. September 2024 garden harvest. And what I do here is I write like all the things I'm growing. I don't grow a ton of things. I'm trying to slowly learn how to preserve enough of all of these things for our family for the year. So I am still really slowly doing this. I get overwhelmed really easily, so I try and just do a little bit at a time. So right now we've got tomatoes, peppers, pumpkins, and okra, and I think that's all we have coming out of our garden right now. We will have sweet potatoes as well, but I think that's later on. We usually do that right before the first frost. That is still pretty far out for us. We usually have that at the end of October or the beginning of November for us. How about y'all? Do y'all live somewhere where it is really cold and you get your first frost really early? That is one of the benefits to living in the South, is you have a long growing season, but also the negative to that is it is super hot during the summertime, and where we're at in Arkansas, we usually have drought like we do right now. I think that storm system that was popping up is completely gone. I don't hear any thunder or anything like that, so I think we might be out of luck as far as rain. But we have the really hard heat in the summertime, and the plants struggle so much, and if we can keep our plants alive through the summertime, usually whenever it cools down in the fall, we can almost get like another flush. But I think that would be a really big struggle in the north, because you have such a short amount of time to get everything done. Like y'all have to work so hard to get everything preserved so quickly. I don't know how y'all do it. So y'all are like superhuman or something to get all of that done. That is amazing. Okay, so something else new I was thinking of doing, I'm just trying to think to make, I don't know, to have a little bit more fun in my day, or I don't know, just a little something to do. I was thinking a new thing to add in would be just things that I like to do that bring me happiness. So I'm going to title this, Add a Little Happy to My Day. So that's what I was thinking to do here. Things have been super stressful, so I think that would be nice to have things that kind of take your mind off of that. So I'm just gonna write like some ideas I had here. So like what I was thinking of doing is a word search. I love word searches, and I think I would I usually have some and I save them for whenever the power goes out, because it like kind of is it's like a stress relief for me and it's nice whenever the power goes out. But I think I'm going to start doing them more because they are really fun. And then, oh, also, another thing I had seen, someone did their word search with a highlighter, and I thought that was super genius. I've never done it that way. I used to just circle all of the words, and then I started like drawing a line through them, but I think a highlighter might be really fun. So I think whenever I do it, I'm going to try it with the highlighter and see if I like that. But I thought that was really cool. Other things that I like to do is listen to audiobooks. I don't hardly have enough of time to sit and read books at this time of year. I do usually try and do that in the winter time, but I can do audiobooks while I'm like doing dishes and things like that. So I would like to do more of that. Of course, bake. Also is starting to cool off a little bit, and I love to try all those fall recipes with all the pumpkins and things like that. That'll be good. I know some people may not like that, but for me that is like something that I just kind of chill out and relax, and I enjoy it an awful lot. Other things that I would like to do is to walk whenever it is not 100 degrees outside. Hopefully it won't be like that, and we can get to that because I really enjoy doing that in the fall. Other things that I love to do, but I do not do it very much, is to listen to music. I love that, but I don't know why. I guess I just don't make time for it. So I guess this is a thing. We're trying to prioritize this. Other things I like to do is to light a candle. I love all of the fall scents, so this is a great time to do that. Something else that I like to do that I don't do very much is soak in the bath. Just kind of take a little bit of time and chill out. Other things are napping. That would be nice. Sometimes it is so hot in the heat. I have been doing this because I just pass out because it's so hot, but from going out and working, and you come in and cool off and you're gone before you know it. Other things kind of related to that is to sleep in. That's nice too. Also, I really like to do new things. I kind of get bored doing the same things, so I would like to go somewhere new. That is really fun to me. Like I said, I get bored really easy, so I like all kinds of new things. That's why I like to do like different recipes and stuff. I just get bored with recipes, so I get bored with lots of things, so I have to try and keep things new and fresh for me. And the last thing I was thinking that would be good to do is to watch funny videos. I love going on to Instagram or YouTube, and you can always find all kinds of funny videos. So always good to laugh. So I think that's everything that I can think of with that. And I know if you're doing this, this may seem like a lot of layouts, but whenever I started out, I did not start out like this. I just started out with my calendar and my daily pages, and that was where I started. And through the years, and this has evolved, and I've tried new layouts and figured out what worked for me with lots and lots of trial and error. And I've kept what worked and just kind of got rid of what didn't, and tried to remember what didn't too. That way if I see another layout and that's similar, I know that that probably won't work for me. But if you're new to this, you know, you could just do a calendar and daily pages and just start off really small and just kind of work your way and figure out what it is that you like. And also remember that if it didn't work out, like any of my layouts that you try or whatever it is that you try, if it didn't work out, you're not married to it. And that's the beauty of DIYing this. You can change it up whenever you want. Like if you started one of these things and say it didn't work out for you for the first week or so, you can just rip it out or completely start over however you want. None of this is dated as well, especially if you get to your daily pages and stuff like that. So you're not like wasting a whole planner if you're not sticking to it, or life happens sometimes and you just can't get to it. So there are lots of benefits to DIYing it, and it is really awesome. But I hope this helps. This is kind of my tried and true I can't live without setups that work great for me for my monthlies. Oh, also, I was gonna say, I do lots of other planner videos on top of this, like my monthly setup. What I use this page for is my garden planting calendar, and I use like the moon phases and the astrological signs to track all of that, and like what days are best to plant when and what days are best not to plant. So that video will be coming out, as well as, so we're going through, I got my goals, as well as I do a video on my meal ideas if you'd like to check that out. And I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. I think that's everything. I also might be doing a video where I show like how I did, especially like with my dailies. People were asking to see what that was like. That's another video I do. I do a video like after here. I start my daily planners, and I do mine really different than what most people do. I threw in things to help make it super efficient for me. So thank y'all all so much for watching. I'm so glad to have y'all here. Thank you for spending a part of your day with me, and I hope this helps y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye!